only a book or something that's never been changed. And there's 39 different Qurans and none of them say the same thing. And finally, in 1924, they decided to take this new version of the Quran, and it wasn't even Prophet Muhammad that did it. It was a student. A student was asked, because in Cairo there were like so many versions of the answers from the Quran that they wanted to put it all together and formulate an opinion. 39 versions of Quran, none of them say the same thing. You tell me why, since that's the only book. I'm trying to throw this, but you think about that and come back to me.
I can throw it for you, I can throw it for you. Don't you want the answer?
I told him I want him to think about it.
He knows the answer.
It's not about thinking about it. I will give you the answer, right? So you can hold on to it. I can hold it to
I can throw it for you if you want.
Right. So it's quite interesting how this polemics of 1924, the Quran got changed and everything. Right. What if I were to give you a Quranic copy of the Quran from 1923 and 1922 or 1900s? Or even 1800s, 1600s, 800. And if we wait,
I'm asking.
try to understand my point. If we find a Quran which is exactly the same that we read today from 1920s, then the idea that the Quran was, are you listening?
Well, actually, somebody else. I just want to say, somebody else said to me that this new version was only written in 1985. It's only 35 years old.
My friend, I can see how people can brainwash individuals, right?
I am not brainwashed.
I didn't say you.
I'm not
saying you.
I'm actually very sound
I'm
minded.
not saying you. If I show you manuscripts from 1400 years in the Middle Ages,
Yes.
and it's exactly the same as we read today,
And you have access to these manuscripts?
I have it on my phone, a PDF copy. Do you want to have a look at it?
I wouldn't know how to read it in
Right.
Arabic.
So I'm showing.
So
I'm
I'd be
telling
probably
you.
dumbfounded.
No, I'm telling you, there are manuscripts of the Quran before 1924. Yes. Like one example I'm giving you, the 14th, 15th centuries.
There's
And
32 of them at the library here.
you're
say,
not listening, are you? If someone is listening
out of
to the Quran,
39.
you're not listening to me.
I am.
You're not. I am saying this, that if I give you a copy of the Quran from 14th century, and now we were in 21st century, how many years is that?
I don't know. Like lots.
Is this earlier than 1924?
Way earlier.
Good. And if I showed you that this is exactly as we read today,
But now we're just face to face. You don't need to shout. I don't care about the camera.
I'm not talking about the camera.
Yeah, but he's recording everything, and that's recording, and you just shouting. But then don't shout. Just let me. I want to hear from you.
I am telling you, if we find that this particular copy of the Quran is
Yeah.
exactly the same as we read today, then the idea, this myth that the Quran was changed in 1924, you have to put it in the rubbish bin or where?
I don't really know, really. All
Did you check?
But listen,
Did you check?
All I want to say is that why not take a look and see for yourself instead of just following blindly? Why don't you just take a look for
That's what I do. That's what I do.
And
Have you done that?
And in any of
Now, have
these-
you done that?
Wait, what heart did you put into it? Of the truth, or to find out your own version?
One moment, my friend. The claim made by certain polemic individuals, like polemical individuals, that the Quran got finally changed in 1924 and even 1985. I'm telling you,
And it's not true?
absolute lie.
Absolutely.
Yes. And how to confirm that this is a lie, how to confirm that, is basically going to manuscripts of the Quran prior to 1924. Get one from 1923, for example, or even 1920s, or even 1900s, or 1800s. The one PDF copy that I have, all of it, is from the 14th, 15th century. And this is the copy that we read it exactly like it's there in that manuscript. So any individual, like these guys over there, who make this claim and brainwash a lot of people, obviously, because people don't use their brain cells, it shows you that lies can often be taken in.
I want you to think little wisely about how you
Did you
speak.
think what I said?
Yes, but I
What
want you
did
to
I
think
say?
a little wisely because you insult a lot of people when you say that people don't have a brain. You insult
Some people don't.
Yeah,
True.
but you insult a lot of people with that one.
Those people who don't have a brain, and if you say they don't have a brain, it's still an insult. It's a clear admission that these people need to use their brains.
But you yourself don't have that factual evidence because just because they refuse, that's no stubbornness. It's not because they don't have a brain. So you gotta think about yourself. I mean, now let's be realistic.
Do you know what brainwashing means?
Yes, I see it every day. Those young men blowing themselves up for the sake of Allah. And
When-
I ask
when
myself,
certain-
when does God need men to come to His aid?
When
Never.
certain individual claims,
Never has asked God. Listen, if you believe God is God,
you're going
He
into-
will never ask you to do anything for Him. Sure, He does everything for you. So
you're going
therefore,
into a
I believe-
tangent now.
But no, now I'm in a tantrum.
You were discussing about a claim that these individuals are making, oh, 1924 the Quran got changed.
I said
I am
this is what
telling
he's
you,
telling you.
I am telling you that these are porkies, not porkies are, these are blatant lies and they have no shame in lying and being exposed of those lies. So you can go in, look, you can go to several libraries around the world.
Would you debate him about the truth findings that he claims to do?
I have debated him and exposed his lies various times. So obviously you're not familiar with that.
No, not this is my first time ever.
That's what I'm saying. You're not familiar with the liars. If you want to know who the liars are, look at what they're lying about and look how they're getting exposed. So this claim that 1924 is when the Quran finally got changed, you just need to go to 1923 or 1922 and look at the differences of the Quran between now and 1922 and 1924. So what this individual is doing is brainwashing people. Which people? Those people who don't use their brain cells.
Someone's putting something, bro.
And you are one of them, unfortunately.
Well, I gotta tell you,
You just said this is the
he's
case.
got proof.
Proof of what?
You gotta go over there and check it out. Is why I'm trying to tell you. He's got proof of everything that you just said. That
That's
it's
another
actually-
level of brainwashing. The amount of faith that you have on the liars.
If I look at it and I see the tangible evidence in front of me, I believe God has blessed me with a sound mind, and a sound mind I
Okay.
have.
Can I show you a copy of the Quran before 1924? And you can tell me by looking at the evidence
My
why
friend,
it's the
I told you,
same
I can't
as the Quran
read
today.
from your language.
Do you have any friends who can read it for you in Arabic?
It's the weed.
Oh, they're smoking weed.
Do you have any friends who can help you? Good. So ask a friend, do we have Quranic manuscripts, complete copies from before 1924? And if we do, those copies, are they exactly the same that we read today? If they are, then you have been what? Lied to by these
But I
individuals.
will look. I will look because I'm interested. I want to know.
Please do.
I want
My
to know
friend,
who's right.
this is what you should have done already before coming here making up my mind. You made up your mind already without looking at any evidence.
But you see, when I read the Bible, it tells me where the evidence lies. You understand? Because the Bible is a blueprint to your life.
Is the Bible from God?
The Bible is inspired by God.
Why does it have
Man
mistakes?
has written it. Because man wrote it, brother.
Okay. So Bible
like-
inspired
just
by
like-
God containing mistakes.
Just like the Quran, man wrote it.
But it is not the
God
speech of
didn't
man.
write it and give you the papers and said this is the
The
manuscript.
Quran didn't have to be even written. It's an oral transmission and it is speech of God. No changes to the speech of God. The Bible, you admit, man wrote it and changed it.
Listen, man corrupts everything, and we know that for a fact.
Not the Quran.
I don't know. I personally, I don't know.
Do you know which month this is in the Islamic month? Called month of Ramadan.
Yes,
Do you know what's so special about this month?
that everybody fasts.
Yeah? People fast, right?
Yes.
People fast. But also, there's another special thing. We have a special prayer that we do after sunset, right? After Isha, after the fifth prayer, we do a prayer called Salatul Taraweeh or Salatul Qiyam.
Okay.
In the majority of the mosques around the world, you will see the whole of the Quran is being recited in this month from beginning to end from memory. This tradition has been going on For a long time. If the Quran has been recited today
But you're still
from
yelling at
memory,
me. I told you don't yell at me.
I'm not yell, I speak loud.
Oh, you yell. And that kind of like doesn't feel right because I'm right face to face with you. It just doesn't feel any kind of respect towards me.
I'm not
You're
yelling at
right.
you, my friend. I'm speaking loud so that those people over there can hear me. If I were to speak like this,
But
everywhere you go.
But you're not
Can you hear me?
speaking to those people. You're speaking to me, brother.
but I want them to
Now
hear
you're
and
telling me.
listen.
You're telling
Okay,
me.
fine. You know what? I apologize if you can't hear anything,
Yeah, that's
right?
fine.
You have to come closer. So, if you go to the masajids in the world today,
You know, when you speak nicer, you receive it better. Jesus. Yes.
you will see the Quran is being recited from memory, from beginning to end. If the reciter were to make a mistake, there's someone to correct that mistake, and the mistake doesn't go unnoticed, uncorrected.
That's
So the whole Quran is being recited from memory alone. This is a practice, as I said, not introduced today. It goes on far back in history. If you think about it, how is it possible to recite the whole Quran from memory?
But you learn it.
Right. So can you change a book? Can you change a book that is recited from memory and passed on from memory all around the world? Can you change it?
Let me tell you something. If somebody tells you a joke and you want to tell that joke, will you change that joke? No, you wouldn't. You tell the same joke over and over again, and pretty much everybody going to find that joke funny, and they're going to tell that same
They
joke.
repeated exactly the same words and letters and phrases.
Well, if it's an important thing, probably.
Okay. Which joke have you heard? It's exactly the same as someone else said that to you.
I actually have heard a few of them. Quite a
Any
few.
decent joke that you can share is exactly the same. If I ask another person, he will say it's word for word, verbatim like that.
I'll tell you the joke. Today, in this age, all the sciences, they think they're clever. So they call God together and they say, God, come on down and we need to have a meeting. We got to talk. And God comes down and talks to them. And the scientists start one by one saying what all the reasons why they don't need God in their lives. And he says the first thing that he said, the greatest thing you ever created was man. And now we can create him too. So we don't need you anymore. And God said to them, okay, but I created mine out of dirt. And one of the clever scientists walks up to God and says, not a problem. Grabs a handful of dirt and says, we'll be right back. God walked over gently to him and shook the dirt out of his hand and told him, get your own dirt.
So this joke,
It's a joke, but like, let me tell you something, it's true. Then all he says is that everything belongs to God.
so this joke that you said, I can hear this joke verbatim, word for word, in the
Somewhere
same
else.
sequence.
Somewhere else, yeah, probably, because that's how I heard it.
Yeah? Okay. Now, would you be able to repeat the same thing that you just said?
Yeah.
Go on. Exactly the same thing, word for word,
tell you
letter for letter, phrase for phrase.
To tell you the truth, I'm not here for your entertainment. I'm here to hear something that's truthful. Like right now, you're trying to entertain yourself.
Sorry, my friend.
And I don't go down that route.
My friend.
But the truth of the matter is, if you repeat something long enough, you have it memorized.
So the joke that you said, can you repeat exactly without any change?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Because I like that joke.
Now go on
I
then.
like telling
Go on,
that
tell me
God
again.
has everything.
Can you tell me again, please? Yeah?
There's
From
no-
beginning to end, without
there's
any
no-
change.
There's no point of it. Look, there's a camera there and there's
Forget
a
the
camera there
cameras.
pointing right at us.
Forget the camera.
You can listen to it, and I promise you,
No.
you'll probably tell that joke yourself.
What
'cause
I'm
it's a
asking
good
you,
one.
what I'm asking you is, repeat it word for word, verbatim,
But why?
to prove to you that when you said, "Oh, if you repeat the joke, it's exactly the same," I'm going to tell you now.
But I've told
I'm
that
going to
joke so
demonstrate
many
to you.
times.
Go on then, repeat once more.
There's no point.
Once more. Once more.
want to hear it again.
Once
Well,
more.
my brother, I told you, I'm not here to entertain you.
Once more.
I'm not here to
Look, look,
entertain you.
if you don't, then it shows that you actually, really, you're not a man of integrity.
You take it as you like. See, I have a choice.
Can I
God embodied me with
humbly
a choice.
request you?
And I am refusing
Can I humbly request you?
to go ahead and belittle myself and be a spectacle to your your little charade saying that I have to do it again. I said it, and it was just like everything else.
Would you be able to do
it's
it?
It's an opinion. Everybody's got an
Is
opinion.
it possible for you to repeat it verbatim?
Every word.
Go ahead.
But that's enough.
No, go ahead.
Because I know who I am.
Look, can you do it? This is an open challenge. I'm challenging you that you'll be unable to repeat word for word. We've already got that in camera. Go and repeat it and we can compare the two. Go ahead. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
I told them that if you repeat something long enough, you memorize
Go ahead,
it. Now,
prove me
now
wrong.
he wants me to repeat my joke.
Prove me
which is
wrong, my
funny.
friend.
I
Say your joke
find it
once
funny.
more.
I find it funny.
Go ahead, once more.
I find you very funny.
You know what? Once more.
So you telling me that you cannot
Excuse
verbally
me.
tell
Once more.
words for words and then remember them?
Go ahead then. Once
There's
more.
nothing special about memory. God
Excuse
gave
me.
that to you.
Go ahead.
Be
Once
thankful.
more. Once more. Why are you running away?
Because I'm tired of holding this thing.
No,
in.
once more. This is your chance to establish your point. That yes, you can repeat the same joke every time verbatim. Go ahead.
Can you repeat the Quran?
Your joke. Your joke.
Can you repeat the Quran?
Those people have memorized, yes. That was
Proved
my point.
That's it. The point is proven. You just proved it
Repeat
for
your
me.
joke.
I don't have
Repeat
to.
your joke.
You just proved it for me because you memorized and your memory is sharp and you remember
Go
these
ahead,
things.
repeat your
so
joke.
That just basically
Repeat your joke, my friend. Don't run away. Because you know he will be exposed. Very clearly, he knows he'll be exposed. If he were to repeat his jokes, he won't do it verbatim. Subhanallah, this is the level of people's, desperation, isn't it? Desperation. So the example that I was saying about the Quran is such that if you claim that it's been changed in 1924, how can you change something that has been memorized in the hearts all around the world? Doesn't matter if you bring a copy of the Quran now, you can you can resurrect the Quran from the memory alone, from anywhere in the world. So these lies that people are lying about the Quran, grow up, people. Use your brain cells. Even your brain cells, if you were to use them, will tell you that this is a blatant lie. It's a laughable lie. Don't believe in such a thing. You're more than that. God has honored you with a brain, with an intellect. Use it.
And that's what I'm here to
Use it.
defend.
Thank you.
I am coming from